ICENET. Dynasties live here.
He got hurt during the Boston series, as we know, injured a knee. And then in Game 2 of the Montreal series, he felt the other knee twinge somewhat. And I'm convinced that he's having trouble.
Assisted all the way in. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh. Gut check time for the Isles. Tom? Scorer in the playoffs of the NHL. He's in on Tom Barrasso. The Isles show pluck, but Barrasso keeps stopping the puck. Back to Buffalo and Tom Mees.
That's the situation with under 5 minutes to go in the second period on Long Island. Let's take a look at the last Buffalo scoring chance.
Randy Wood on the puck. He knows he better put the puck towards the goal. And you see number 41, that's a defenseman, Sutton, in looking for the puck. And it's been a very calm game by Patrick Waugh. Very steady.
Flex off of Larry Murphy and past Tom Barrasso. It seems that's about the only way that you're going to beat Barrasso tonight. It is 1-1 down on the island in the closing moments of the second period.
Zone and Flatley shoots in. Barrasso gloved that one. Knocked it down for Ramsey. Ramsey around, lost it to Fitzgerald, but play is stopped, and a penalty will be called here against the New York Islanders. Ramsey was decked in the near corner, and the Islanders will draw their second penalty, and we will see Mario Lemieux, I'm sure, now on the tail end of period number 2. As the Penguins will have the turkey on the table and an opportunity here to try.
I don't really know where the high stick was from Claude Loisel. It looked like Ramsey just got tripped up as he came around the corner. Maybe Fitzgerald got the stick up. That's why Loisel looked so puzzled. He didn't know, what did I do? And he goes to the box.
Murphy tried to cut him off. He centered it, and it came off Barrasso's stick. Penguins will have a minute 10 to work with as the period will go by that clock and time left. Yager flying through to the Islanders in, and is cut off by Brian Mullen. Penguins have yet to score a power play goal in this series. They are 0 for 13. This is power play chance number 4. And Yager leads the parade on down the right wing of the Islanders in. He's flying. Comes out in front of Lemieux, and he shoots at him. Was blocked. Picked up by Mullen in front for Larry Murphy. Murphy trying to pull the trigger. He can't do it. Yager gets it again. Top of the right wing circle. Yager now moving over to Joe Mullen. Slippery Rock Joe looking. He tries to put it in front, and it comes off a stick right to Ron Francis at the left point. Back down to the near corner for Joe Mullen. In front for Lemieux, and it went by. Murphy trying to get a handle. Can't. Here come the Islanders short-handed. 2-on-1. Make it 3-on-1. Fitzgerald left side against Francis. Fitzgerald looks for Ben Mahoga's shot. And he fanned on it. It went up the heel of the stick. He's got it again. Comes out. Shoots it. And off Yager's blade, and it goes over to the far corner. 19 to go in the period. A steal by Fitzgerald. He fires and scores. Tom Fitzgerald with a short-handed goal.
The third short-handed goal for the Islanders in this series against the Penguins. Fitzgerald knocked that puck out of the air as the Penguins tried to go up the middle with it out of their own zone. He turned around and just fired it back past Tom Barrasso to give the Islanders their first lead of the hockey game, 2-1.
And the native of Melrose, Mass is a pretty happy guy right now. And a hit a stick, I think, and deflected by Barrasso again. But a short-handed goal. Couldn't score in a 3-on-1, but they make it work as they kept right on coming. This Islander team is a team that just never gives up. 16.1 seconds left here in this period.
Derek King still looking for that first playoff goal. Not against Barrasso, not tonight so far. Coming down, Brad Delgarno, rink-to-rink pass, is going to make the shot. Barrasso down, easy save. Gives it to his defenseman, out of trouble. Flatley's going to try a little stuffer here in the backhand. Barrasso post to post, very securely, just picks it up, hangs on to it. As Ferraro comes in, gives him a little tap. The Islanders frustrated. King with a hit there, and then a little extra hit on Tom Barrasso, because Barrasso's been stoning him the entire series. You don't win Stanley Cups without terrific goaltending.
number 2, a short-handed goal, and he gets a second one here early in the third. 25 seconds in.
Larry Murphy tried to come over and play him on it, and he just fired it right past Barrasso on the glove side.
Well, he just cranked it up and beat him far post, and the Islanders lead 3-1. And the Penguins will put Lemieux on the bench and go to work here, down by 2.
All right, well, it was the Isles who had the tough power play going in, but now it's Pittsburgh's power play that's killing them. Tom Fitzgerald with bookend goals and a 3-1 lead. Back to Tom Mees in Buffalo.
All right, Jack Edwards, thank you very much. So the score is identical. Both games in New York State tonight are at 3-1. One has the home team winning. The other one has the home team facing elimination. Paul Steigerwald of the Penguins Network had a great line. Maybe the Penguins ought to start declining the penalties.
Well, Pittsburgh gave up 19 shorthanded goals during the regular season. No one gave up more. And it looks like they're having problems in that area as the Islanders are beating
Penguins
the
and Isles,
Islanders.
Pittsburgh on the power play, trailing by a goal.
4 shorthanded goals. Lemieux has played only on the power play. This is the 3rd time in the game he's had a shift and has poked right to Healy in front, and he stops the play. Ariel Lemieux bothered by a bad back. And he has played only 2 shifts prior to this. 1 in the first period, 1 in the second. He shoots and scores. Kevin Stevens ties it, and the Penguins make it 4-4. Oh, scratch my back with a hacksaw. Stevens right in front. Lemieux proving his worth again as he came out and helped set up the power play goal.
Well, he had Healy wondering where he was. He darted in around behind the net, changed direction a couple of times, and Healy didn't know which side he was coming out on. And again, he passed the puck from behind the cage on Healy's stick side. So he reached back once, then looked the other way, then he didn't find the puck before it was in the net. Lemieux with tremendous work behind the cage on Healy.
6:24, the time of the goal. Lemieux played in obvious pain, but he set it up for Stevens. And the big left winger, who has been in kind of a slump himself, drills it in. And for Kevin Stevens, his 3rd of the playoffs. Ray Ferraro to King, and he shoots it way wide of the Penguin cage. Around the right wing side, Steve Thomas came in. He couldn't get to it. The Penguins will, and here comes Ramsey on the center. Looks for Mike Needham, the Penguin rookie right winger, but he can't come up with it. And the Islanders do have possession. They give it away to Murphy at center ice. And the Penguin defenseman sails it up in the air where Curvers returns to take command of it behind his own netminder, Glenn Healy. Outlet to center. Murphy again with it. Rams it right back in, and it goes around to the far wing. Pittsburgh 4, the Islanders 4 here in the 3rd period. Loney. Body 4, and it comes to Needham in front for Yager. Went right by him. Ramsey shoots it towards the net. That misfires, hit something, and went up into the crowd. Paulie can't get there to get it in. And Stevens will tap it ahead to center ice. Kasparaitis, who just went off for taking that penalty for knocking hitting Jaromir Jagr. Jagr now going after it again to the left wing corner of the Islanders zone. Jagr rid to the far corner by Malakov and upended. And New York has the puck. Here is Hogue hitting on a check by Kevin Stevens, and play continues. He got him right in the arm with a stick. Francis back to Jagr, right side over to Stanton, the Penguin defenseman. Shoots it in behind the net. Ron Francis and Jagr crisscross. They don't have the puck, however. Vasky does. Dennis Vasky behind the net. The Penguins have moved it up a notch here now in this 3rd period. Here comes Jagr, giving the puck in the slot area for Stanton. It's poked away by the Islanders. And for the first time in this game, the Penguins really have, I think, come to a higher level. Here's Malakov over the Penguins. He walks in on goal, and he shoots and scores! What a play by Malakov as he beats Barrasso, pulled him down. And the New York Islanders again have the lead 5-4. Vladimir Malakov.
Malakov with his 2nd goal of this series. Brian Mullen just dumped it to the corner. It looked like it hit a stick again and came right to where Malakov could handle it as he wheeled around Ulf Samuelsson. He patiently skated to his left and dumped it up over Tom Barrasso. Mullen laid it out there. Look at that pass for Malakov. I thought it hit a stick, but it came right to him. Just a perfect saucer pass. And then Malakov put it upstairs on Barrasso. Malakov's been a force on that blue line, and the Penguins, as soon as they started cheating up on the play and pinching and trying to force the issue offensively, that Islander defense jumps into the play again and comes up with a big goal to give them a 5-4 lead.
Now Malakov connecting with his 3rd of the playoffs, 2nd of this playoff series, and here comes Patrick Flatley now, moving back towards the Penguin blue line. Flatley of New York goes the off wing, left side, comes in. Joey Mullen strips the puck away from him. Can he clear it out? He does, over to Dave Tippett. Penguin center iceman working with McEachran. And Joe Mullen. Mullen now circling at center res. Going to shoot it down the boards. In behind Glenn Healy. He couldn't stop it. Flatly off the far boards. Overskated the play, but Tom Curvers with the puck for New York. On the center to Derek King. 5-4 Islanders. 10:05 left here in the third period. Ferraro up the right wing, going to Flatley. He tried to cut around one of the Penguins. That was Ramsey who went into the boards, tried to hip check him. And he.
All right, Buffalo on a 4-on-3 power play against Montreal. Doug Bodger to the captain, Dale Howard-Chuck. He tees it up, blasts and scores. The lead is cut in half. It's 3-2 Montreal. Now back to the island. Mike Lang, Paul Steigerwald.
The Islanders 3-0 in a best-of-7 series, and the Islanders are one of 2 teams in the NHL. David Bollock of the Islanders after at right wing boards. New York leading 5-4. Straka of Pittsburgh, and he is back to take possession of it. Straka, boys, 3 Islanders coming onto the play to the Islanders line. Right side to Tocchet, moves into the slot, backhanded towards Healy, and he gloves it with that left paw, and he reaches up to pull it in. With the speed of Martin Straka, the Penguin #1 draft choice, making that play happen, and then Tocchet denied by Glenn Healy.
Straka made a first move back in his own zone to wheel around one of the Islanders, and that got him started. And he came busting up through the middle, and that was the end of a shift, too. And he was able to drive to the net as Tocchet cut to the inside and backhanded one, and Straka was there for the rebound, but there was no rebound. Good job by Glenn Healy to pull it out of the air.
It almost looked like Healy wasn't quite sure where it was going for a moment. The Sabres have scored to make it 3-2.
The Penguins tie it again at 5. Right in front, it was deflected off a stick. It might have been Kevin Stevens, and the Penguins make it 5-5.
Oh, go ahead, make my day. Do you believe this game?
It was not nothing at the end of one, folks.
Well, neither team could buy a goal. Now neither goaltender can make a save. Another play from behind the net on the stick side of Healy, and then Stanton throws it back to the net. It hits a body and goes right over the arm of Healy. Maybe Francis got a piece of that.
Baskey was in front. It may have hit him.
Good work by Stanton just to get it back to the net. Francis got the blade of his stick on that.
Now the Penguins tie it again at 5. We'll wait the official announcement here on the goal. And another new hockey game. The Islanders score, the Penguins score. Here's Jágr coming back into the Islanders end. Francis looks for the puck, and he can't get it. Now Garneau. Sneaking over to the near corner. 5-5 the score here in the third period. Francis over to the left wing side. Going to Wolf Samuelsson by him. And on to the neutral zone. Paul Stanton back to get the puck, and he'll find Francis. A breaking Jágr down the right wing. Jágr coming down there behind the net. He puts it in front for Francis, and it went right by a stick. Jágr's off the boards again. Trying to whip it to Francis, but intercepted by Patrick Flatley. Jaromir Jágr had the game winner in Game 3 for the Penguins against the Islanders. Tried to shoot it, looking away the other way. McEachran in front, can't get a handle on it. And Patrick Flatley does.
Stan's got a man over Norton. He shoots it. It was deflected. Ferraro's after it again. Turning, put it in front. Shot, score! Derek King! And it's 6-5 Islanders. Derek King's second goal.
Ferraro danced out of the corner. Shel Samuelsson backed off and allowed him to come right to the goal mouth with that puck. Norton fired it. It hit Samuelson's skate and went to the corner. Ferraro was the first man to get the puck. He wheeled around Tippett with a nice play. Samuelsson just watched. He never turned around to find Derek King. King was all by himself on the far post, and he hammered it into the net. His second goal of the game gives the Islanders a 6-5 lead. Samuelsson looked to the corner at Ferraro, and he didn't break up the pass, and he didn't take King, and that was just a case of the Islanders having it all their way around the net, and Barrasso didn't have a chance on that one.
Well, Derek King.
We'll return to the island for more ESPN bonus coverage, but now let's go back to Buffalo. Tom Mees calls the play-by-play. The Sabres on the power play, down by a goal.
All right, Jack Edwards, thank you very much. Welcome back to the On in Buffalo. A power play goal by Dale Howard-Chuck has narrowed the Canadiens' lead to 3-2.
And nearly 3-3, as you'll see on Tet take the
And bonus
rebound.
coverage
This is on
live
the
from Long Island with the Pens trailing.
Looking at off Samuelsson, the Penguin defenseman who sparkled for the Penguins in Game 3 of this playoff series against the Islanders. Very hard-fought 3-1 Pittsburgh win, but this one has a lot different look to it. A 6-5 Islander lead right now with 4 minutes and 22 seconds left in regulation.
Scotty Bowman inserts Jaromir Jágr on the right wing with Francis. Stevens on the left now.
Uses Yager in a critical role, particularly in the third period, looking for a goal. And Yager has been a guy in his young career, only his third year, that's been able to provide the Penguins with that magic. Yager has a goal here in this one. He had the game winner in game 3. Francis surveys the scene against the rookie Travis Green. The face off to the left of Healy. They'll drop the puck, and the Penguins work for it, and it comes back into the corner, and Monacoff defensively, who gave the Islanders the lead with a goal. Penguins came back and tied. Here now is Yager trying to shoot it, and that was blocked. It goes back behind the net. Francis again jamming right in front of the net. That's a loose puck. Yager's in front with a backhander, and a good save by Healy there on Jaromir Yager of Pittsburgh. Now Murphy back behind the goal. The Penguins coming strong, and then Travis Green winds it around out of the area.
Yager moves into the Islanders' end, and he shoots it in front.
Deflected over to Patrick Flatley. Flatley moves it over near wing to Uwe Krupp. And the Islander blue liners steer it up the left side now to Travis Green. Coming to the Penguin zone. Look right side for Flatley. Flatley does get the puck. Drop it to Krupp, and a wrist shot blocked by Pittsburgh. Penguins can't get it out though, and it comes over to the near side. Brian Mullen shoots one. That hit one of the Penguins in the head. That was Ramsey. Now Mullen again.
All right,
chasing
back up to Buffalo we go. The final 23 seconds of the game there. Tom Mees has the play-by-play.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Carbonneau is up. He's on the bench. Bodger's been taken to the locker room. Under 20 seconds to go in the Sabres season unless they can score. Sabres, empty net. Himmler scores! Davidson, who said the number 13 is unlucky?
Right off the face-off, it's won by Buffalo. Now the battle on the boards is won by Buffalo. Himmler goes to the front of the net. Battles and battles, and here comes the puck. Boom. Why did Desjardins bend down to pick up his glove? Can you believe it? Look at the defenseman in front. Reach for his glove. It took too long. It's tied up at 3 with 9.2 to go. Look in front of the net. Look at Desjardins get his glove.
Oh, my.
Can you believe it? Bingo! We're tied at 3, 9.2 seconds to go. It's been a gutsy performance. Bodger's gone to the locker room. Carbonneau's on the bench injured. Dave Hannon was given a 10-minute misconduct, and they're going crazy in the odd.
Buffalo goal by Yuri Himmler, his fourth to the playoffs. There you see it.
Puck, boom. And they're loving it. The period has now been waved off.
Yep.
We have overtime here in Buffalo.
All right, we'll be back for the overtime. Do not fear about that. Right now, we're going to go back to our studio. Jack Edwards is standing by with more words on the Islanders and the Penguins. Jack?
Oh, my aching adrenal glands. We're going to sudden death in Buffalo. Now let's go back to the island. Live bonus coverage with the Pens down.
Passo's over. He clears it up near side over to Larry Murphy. Murphy going back to Shell Samuelson. Defending Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins who have won cup back-to-back years. In front, it comes to Francis. A shot, and that's stopped. Here's Yager turning to shoot it. Where is it? It was blocked. Stevens has it. You put it in behind the net. The Islanders take it away. Monacoff clears the zone. And it will come the length of the ice to the Pittsburgh zone. Shell Samuelson back to touch it. And icing call.
Larry Murphy going. Talk it on to the Islander line. Kasparaitis broke up that play.
Remember, the Penguins have an empty net. And the puck moved back inside the Penguin line. Ron Francis pulling back with 1:19 to go. Fitzgerald, who has been a part of this Islander lead with 2 short-handed goals. Murphy to the right wing to Yager. Can he get up into the Islander zone? Flatley took it away, and he banks it up the near side. But Murphy again shuffles it back into the Islanders' end. Penguins have people offside. They have to get back across the line. And Uwe Krupp has a chance. Shoot it up into the Penguin zone, and it does not get to the empty net. Murphy with 1 minute to go. Down the left wing to Mario Lemieux. Tried to stuff it ahead to Ronnie Francis. Can't do it. Now Lemieux. Pressured. Wristed up right to Flatley. Has an empty net. Shooter, but it hit Murphy, the Penguin defenseman. Murphy out the left wing to Mario Lemieux. Trying to carry it in. Zigzag. Going down the slot is poked away. Yager looks for the puck. He has it. He turns it front shot. Deflected off Healy. The rebound is to the right of the net. The Islanders have it. Fitzgerald pressured by Yager, but he gets it out of danger. 33 to go in the third period. Now Murphy skates staff at his own blue line. Penguins had a chance there, maybe their best, to tie the game. They shoot it in again. Healy stops it behind the goal to Kasparaitis. The Islanders 20 seconds away from tying the series. Now Tocchet around the right wing corner. Off down to Yager. Behind the net to Mario Lemieux in front, trying to go to Stevens. Goes to Murphy. Backhander stop by Healy. He has it. Healy's got it, and he holds on. Tocchet and Kasparaitis whack away at one another. And Glenn Healy able to keep the Penguins off the scoreboard. And it's 6-5 still New York. 12.3 seconds left.
Penguins worked the boards beautifully. Tocchet did a great job of forcing the play behind the net. Lemieux again passed it out on the stick side of Healy to Larry Murphy, to Ronnie Francis. He deflected it right into the belly pad of Glenn Healy. It was all the way back on that goal line. Francis almost got himself another deflection, but it went right to Healy. Tocchet did a great job.
Penguins were hoping to get it off his pads and a possible rebound, and that one took 5 seconds exactly. That's how fast it can happen. Now Pittsburgh won the draw, and they got it right back to Mario Lemieux, and he came down, looked for room. He just, I think, wanted to try and put it on Healy and hope for a puck to bounce off of him.
I think he was trying to catch Healy by surprise, too, Mike. Just Healy probably figuring they were going to try to set something up in front of him, and all of a sudden Lemieux pulls the trigger from a sharp angle.
And here we go now with 7.3. Kick back, and Lemieux looks for it, but the Islanders come over. Can they get it out? They can't. Stevens trying to put it into the net, knocked away, and the Islanders raise their arms. They will win. The New York Islanders, at the end of the game, gets a little tough here at center ice. The New York Islanders have evened this series at 2 games apiece.
Stevens just speared Patrick Flatley.
But it has come to an end. And now Murphy battling here with Patrick Flatley. And Flatley drops the gloves and comes after Larry Murphy. And here they all go. Well, not a very diplomatic ending, I guess, would be the way you'd want to describe it. And they got to get them under control here now as the game is ended. The Islanders have won it. Stevens and Uwe Krupp move away, and I think that they'll be able to sort this out. Flatley and Larry Murphy really showing a lot of frustration between the two of them at the end of the game. Now what you've got now is a best-of-3 series. And the Islanders knotted up as they have won this hockey game. Final score here, the New York Islanders 6 and the Pittsburgh Penguins 5.
Well, save it, boys, because Monday night.
So does he make a difference? Yeah, in 19 seconds he makes a difference. But he got help, Gary. Terrific aggressive play by Tocchet, Stevens, and also Larry Murphy, who pinched in on the right side to keep this alive. Glenn Healy poke-checked the puck accidentally right by Uwe Krupp, number 4. That's how Stevens got it. Put it right out to Mario Lemieux, who was wide open, and in 19 seconds, the big man has made his presence felt.
That's how legends are made. You saw his 50th career playoff goal in his history from Mario Lemieux. And the line almost got another one. 1-0, Pittsburgh on top. That is his first goal against the New York Islanders, his 6th of the playoffs.
And Gary, I think the interesting fact here is that he started the game. That tells you what kind of shape he's in. I mean, if there was any doubt about his back, he would have rested.
3-on-1, Lemieux, Stevens, centering pass, score! Rick Tocchet!
What a play. What a play, but the Islanders helped their cause. They're usually very tight. They got caught up ice. One fall right there by Dennis Vasky, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-1 on Malakoff. Lemieux to Stevens, over to Rick Tocchet. Glenn Healy hedged his bet. He stayed back to try to cut the pass. He didn't come out on Kevin Stevens, but it still wasn't enough. And Gary, I got a feeling that within 54 seconds, and that's how much time has been played, all of that tightness I talked about, that I could sense from the Pittsburgh Penguins, or at least a lot of it, has been relieved.
And
let off.
Islanders are going to use their timeout right here, Bill.
Why not?
Al Arbor, you look at him, he's just saying, settle it down. We haven't even played 1 minute of this game. 54 seconds, that's all. That's all that's happened. 2-0 lead. Rick Tocchet set up. He was so excited on that goal, he could hardly move. He didn't know to jump, to fall, to stand up, to cheer.
He was paralyzed. There's Dennis Vasky going down. Vasky's played such a strong series for the Islanders, but he slipped on that one. And Mario and Stevens both, they sensed it and took off to try and create the 3-on-1. And you know, this is the 5th consecutive game that the Pittsburgh Penguins have scored the first goal. Now they have one to add to that, so they're leading 2-0. The New York Islanders know they've come back from at least 1 goal deficits in each of the first 4 games. So Al Arbor was a terrific time to take the time out to explain that to his guys.
You can't get any higher, I don't think, than the Pittsburgh Penguins are in the first minute of this game. Mario Lemieux at 19 seconds, his 6th of the playoff, 50th of his career. Kevin Stevens and Rick Tocchet at 54 seconds. Tocchet is 6th of the playoffs with Kevin Stevens and Mario Lemieux. And Pittsburgh has a 2-0 lead, battling in the corner. Jeff Daniels, the rookie, trying to kick it away, does. Behind the play, a penalty coming up. Delayed call. Kerry Fraser, the referee, has the arm up at the other end, and he's got it right here. Kerry Fraser, our referee tonight, with Ron Finn and Kevin Collins. And this is going to be a Pittsburgh power play. In the corner, sticks were getting up.
Oh, yeah. And it was Rich Pilon who was back in the lineup after missing a few with the knee that he hurt in game 1. There's Pilon taking Ron Francis. That looked like just a straight shove under the chin. But Rick Tocchet came right off the bench. Maybe his glove was a little high. You got the face mush going there right into Ronnie Francis' mouth. But Tocchet came off the bench and skated right to Pilon just to say something to him before he went to the faceoff. And now this is the time for the Penguins to decline the penalty. It went from bad to worse in game 4. Tom Fitzgerald scored 2 shorthanders in the same penalty. There was an intermission in between. But check these numbers. In this series, 1 for 15 on the power play for the Penguins, 6.7%. Playoffs, 19%. They were second best during the regular season at just about 24%.
And 4 shorthanded goals have been scored by the New York Islanders in this series, and 8 on the year against Pittsburgh. That'll be covered up at the side of the net by Glenn Healy, who's had a brutal little start to this game. Glenn Healy, you see in net, he has started all the games for them at 2.99 goals against. 6 wins, 3 losses thus far in this season's playoffs.
What a contrast between Glenn Healy and Tom Barrasso. Glenn Healy is just a happy-go-lucky guy. There doesn't seem to be any intensity on the surface. There has to be inside. Tom Barrasso seems to walk around with an intense air, and he seems to be focusing all the time. He is approachable. He doesn't have the big smile like Glenn Healy does when you come over to him. That's just the difference in their demeanors.
Tom Barrasso is 3rd and goals against. They score! 3-0. Larry Murphy, Pittsburgh up.
Face-offs have been so key in this series, and the Islanders on certain games have gobbled up the Pittsburgh Penguins, but not this time. Right off the draw, Ronnie Francis to Tocchet, the deflection on the Larry Murphy shot off of Tom Fitzgerald. I'm sure the Penguins are saying there. Right off Tom Fitzgerald's stick, and it looked like it started to flutter and actually knuckleball on Glenn Healy. He was handcuffed on it just inside the post, and the Penguins, with Lemieux and with Tocchet on the ice for all 3 goals, lead at 3-0.
Wow. That is his first goal against the Islanders in this series. And now the Islanders have got to find some way to get this game under control, just get it back to where they are in it. It'll be cleared in. Healy over to get it. Troy Loney to Yager. Yager looking fellow.
Giles knew he was going to get absolutely squashed. He's a little guy. And it looked like he got his elbow and his stick up on Bill Berg. Watch it. Giles makes the good play and realizes he's going to get wiped. Yep.
Islanders did their part, adding the Flyers a 6-2 beating. Then they had to wait and hope that Buffalo could pull out an overtime victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. With the score tied 2-2 in Pittsburgh, Huey Krug became the hero for Buffalo and for the Islanders by ending the game with a slap shot from the point. The shot set off an eruption at the Nassau Coliseum where players and fans alike stayed behind to watch the conclusion of the Pittsburgh game. At the time, Krug had no idea how much the goal meant.
At the time when I scored it, it was basically just an overtime goal. You know, we wanted to win the game, but we never... I don't think it was made a point before the game that we had to, you know, what it would mean to the Islanders and Pittsburgh. We knew that Pittsburgh was in a battle, but it wasn't, you know, especially, at least I wasn't really, to my knowledge, I didn't know anything about the significance of the goal at the time. Afterwards, it's been brought up, and through Bill Corey was talking to my agent, and, you know, and all that stuff. That's how it got to me. It was an important goal for the Islanders, and, you know, looking back at it, I just shot the puck. There wasn't really nothing else.
Ironically, by eliminating the Pittsburgh Penguins from the playoffs, Krug helped position them one place ahead of the New York Islanders in the 1990 draft. And with that pick, number 5 overall, Pittsburgh chose the flashy Czech native Jaromír Jágr. Of course, there's no guarantee the Islanders would have chosen Jágr. And besides, Krug feels the Islanders did pretty well in the bargain. Then prior to this year, 1990 was their last playoff appearance.
I think it's always important to make the playoffs. And I think that's every team's first priority is to make the playoffs. If you, there's here and there's talk about teams that, okay, they want to finish last or something like that because they want to get that first round pick overall. But in a way, that's kind of contradictory to what you play for all year long. So from a player's point of view, I would say that's an unfair system to go with. And I still think that, you know, Jaromír Jágr is a good player nonetheless, but the Islanders definitely, how do I say this? The Islanders definitely profited from making the playoffs that year, and they played postseason, which is important to every team. The people went to see exciting games. After the collective bargaining agreement last year, I think all the players realized, or started to realize how much it meant to each franchise or organization from an economical point of view to play postseason. So it has two sides of it. Jaromír Jágr is definitely a great player, and he was outstanding last year in the playoffs. But I think the Islanders made a lot of money on that goal that I scored for them.
And it meant a lot to Islander fans as well, who remembered Huey's contribution against Pittsburgh and immediately adopted him when he came to Long Island last season, along with Pierre Turgeon, Benoit Hogue, and the since departed Dave McElwain from the Fontaine, Wood, and Hilliard.
It was a very emotional time for me being traded from Buffalo, not really counting on getting traded either. Not seeing it coming was a pretty difficult time, but we were, all of us, I would say, all the guys that came from Buffalo were welcomed very nicely, and you know, a lot of people came to me before the game and after the game and said, you know, you were an Islander for a long time. After you scored that goal, they were following my career and stuff like that. So it's
one of those things.
We've had another indoor fireworks display thanks to the fans who brought their sparklers. Every seat is full. Some of them just settling back into those seats now since Joe Dewar has finished his rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. Goaltending matchup. Where did he go? There he is. Tom Barrasso. His 45 playoff wins. That ties him for 11th on the all-time playoff list with Tony Esposito. You see the numbers he has in the playoffs this season. 2-5-1, 7 wins, 3 losses. What a goals against average. And for Glenn Healy, this will be as the New York Islander, his 15th playoff game. His record is 6-4, 3.25 this year in the playoffs, and against Pittsburgh in this round, it is at 3.61. Tonight's referee, Mark Fawcett, who's working his 8th playoff game of the 93 round, joined by Wayne Bonney and Gerard Gauthier, will work the line. Mark Fawcett from Springfield, Massachusetts. His dad was the linesman in the American Hockey League for 17 seasons. And when young Mark came along and got a job, the AHL East out clock. Fawcett drops the puck between Green and Lemieux. Penguins have it. Murphy playing the right side of their defense. Cross now to Ramsey. Picked up by Delgado, forcing him to dump it in. Kasparaitis takes the puck. Ramsey took a hit from Delgado, came right back on him, but Travis Green moves it up to Loisel. Over the line with Murphy back. Loisel off the left side, shoots, glove save, knocked out, and then cleared away. Kasparaitis unloads, pass chase, Delgado scores! Take that! That's the play by Loisel. Travis Green will move to the front of the net. Here's the shot by Kasparaitis. The rebound by Delgado underneath a sprawling Tom Barrasso. Pittsburgh did it in 19 seconds. The Islanders, 25 seconds, excuse me, as we see it for a second time. Brad Delgado, that's his second goal of the playoff. A timely one. Can they get the one inside 35 seconds? No, that might be a little much to ask. Now they have Vasky and Molotov in defense with Ferraro, King, and Junker up front. Steve Junker wears number 17. Vasky checks him behind by Francis. King gets to the Pittsburgh line. Junker knocked down back to the net. Molotov picked it to Junker. Steve Junker on to Vasky, who's across the line. Vasky trying to move in on Charles Samuelson. Turns on him. King takes the puck off the board. And down to the corner with a shot. He scores! What a way to answer back. Derek King from a bad angle. How come Tom Barrasso didn't get that one? One, he was back in the net a little too far. Two, there was a spot between his knees that Derek King found. Bang. Into the far side of the net. These fans are back on their feet. As Derek King, with his third goal of the playoffs, he got it away so quickly, Barrasso couldn't get set for the shot. So it's the Islanders 2, the Penguins 1, the goal, 32 seconds. The Islanders knock it down at center. Troop, Molotov, and then Molotov over the line. Right side, Mario Lemieux steps in front of Brian Mullen. Hard around the boards. It'll be held by Troop into the corner to Thomas. Thomas touched it back to the net. It's centered out in front. Bowling! The score! Ferraro! Take advantage of the opportunities when they're presented. Look at this play. What a beautiful play to get the puck to Ferraro, and he cleanly beat Barrasso. He went to the backhand. His last ball of the playoffs. The Islanders have a one-goal lead. It's now 3-2. Thomas keeps it alive. What a play by Brian Mullen to get it to a finisher. Great Ferraro. And more important than the goal right at that time is that it's with 2 minutes. I contradicted myself. What is important is that the Islanders have 2 minutes of power play time still remaining. Am I excited or what? Oh, yeah. Aren't we all? Ferraro sets up King on the right side. Back to Molotov. Over to Kerber. Turn, plays it deeper in the Pittsburgh zone. Through Ferraro on to King. King looks to Molotov. Right back to the big defenseman. King plays it away from all Samuelson. Ferraro can't center it through Murphy. And then he gets checked from behind and slammed to the ice. Up comes the Penguins. Tippett to Pocket. Pocket back to Tippett to the backhand. Healy makes the stop. Out recovers the puck. The play continues as he got it quickly onto the stick of Delgado, then to Ferraro. Ferraro steps over center ice, takes the shot, and dumps it in. Barrasso to play it here. Up the middle this time and down into the Islander zone. Ferraro leads all goal scorers in the Stanley Cup playoffs of 93 with a dozen. Mullen and Thomas assisted on the goal. King to Krupp over the Pittsburgh line. Huey Krupp holds it. Takes it round the net to get away from Ramsey. Back to Volokov. Long shot. Got through, but wide. King and Thomas go after it. Steve Thomas to Hogue covering the point. Back to Thomas. Centers. Krupp shot is deflected wide. Ramsey got it to the line. Hogue held it in. Benoit Hogue. Reached it a little deeper. Trying to feed it back to Lemieux. Went to Thomas. Out to King. Back to Molotov and away from him. Lemieux looks down the ice as Healy plays the puck towards Vladimir Molotov. 28 seconds in the power play. The pass off Thomas's stick. He got knocked down. Lost his helmet as Kjell Samuelsson collided with him. And Samuelsson is just at the length of the ice. 4 shots on goal with this major power play for the Islanders. And a quick one. And it's 3-2. Curvers brings it to center with 10 seconds to the man advantage. He's over the Pittsburgh line. Curvers with Brian Mullen. Mullen nudges it back to the net. All Samuelsson gets it to the line. Baskey into Thomas. Thomas wrapped up with All Samuelsson. Needham, who observes the major penalty, is out of the box. The Islanders do hit for one and get a 3-2 lead. The major penalty to Ron Francis. The loss of Francis for the balance of the game may be even more important. Thomas into the zone. Big collision with All Samuelsson. He goes right back on the defenseman. They wrap up. There's going to be a penalty call. The referee Fawcett points to All Samuelsson. Samuelsson barking at Thomas. This game is coming to you from the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Taglianetti steps up. Thomas knocked it away, but Taglianetti recovers. Comes to center ice. Baskey reached in, knocked it away from him, but it went to Tippett. To Tocchet. Tocchet checked by Curvers. The Islanders move it across to Brian Mullen. Right around the boards with 42 seconds left in this power play. Kjell Samuelsson didn't get it out of the zone. Brian Mullen dumped it toward the corner. Hold for Samuelsson off the puck. There's Thomas in front for Curvers, and he can't get the backhand around. Curvers to the side of the net. Thomas comes out in front. He scores! Curvers in control. There's the puck. Beautiful play off the net. He pulled away from the goalpost. Thomas lifted it. It went up underneath the left arm of Tom Barrasso and Steve Thomas. Lemieux putting the stick in the P-line. Kasparaitis popped him again. This time there will be a penalty. Kasparaitis is challenging Mario. Darius, look at the number. Well, you think he isn't into this hockey game. We'll be back after this local break.
Daniels, who really wasn't the guy that had Benoit Hogue, it was Yager. He covered for Yager on the play.
Kjell Samuelsson on the near side. Alf Samuelsson has the only goal in the game. His first of this playoff season. Claude Loisel, Samuelsson, puck there, long enough. Players chat and separate Loisel and Samuelsson.
16,160. No, we've talked for the last couple of days, Gary, about who the Montreal Canadiens are sitting at home cheering. No sooner did I pay the Penguins a compliment, Gary, than they gave away 2 3-on-2s back-to-back, and now a costly mistake by Ulf Samuelsson. With 2 Islanders parked in front, Samuelsson seemed to fan on his pass. Here he is. He's got lots of time. Benoit Hogue cut the pass. Shot wide, right out behind, and Steve Thomas just stayed parked. You know, he didn't fan on it. He just tried a low-percentage pass. In Ulf Samuelsson's defense, where were all the forwards? Waiting up at the blue line, and the Islanders just tried to stay in the passing lanes, and that didn't work. Samuelsson got all of his pass, but nobody was back supporting him, so he had to try to make a long pass.
What a huge goal for the New York Islanders, being so outplayed here offensively in this game. This game is now tied. Thomas from Benoit Hogue at 18:28 of the second period. Ray Ferraro on the near side, only one assist on it. Thomas picking up his 6th of the playoffs this season. 26 points in his career. And a 1-1 game. Another stunning example of what's been done in this series for the Islanders. David Volek, Ferraro cutting. Ferraro tried to tip. Puck went behind him. Bounces to center. We're in the final minute of the second period. Sent in wide of Barrasso. Back to get it is Larry Murphy. Murphy got pinned in. Clears it up ice. Lost it. Volek came back in. Delayed off.
But one of them was Steve Thomas, who had the open net and did not mess. We're tied at 1.
Green, look at the save by Healy. Murphy banging it away. Who's going? Lemieux against Malakoff. Going right, shooting left. Healy with the right pad. Look at this speed right here from Yager. Mario doing everything he can. He's had a tremendous game tonight. I mean, this is a guy that had to play well if the Penguins were going to win, and he has played extremely well.
Detroit and winning it in overtime in that game. We're going to see St. Louis go to overtime in the 7 probably against Toronto, the way that series is going, and 7 games here.
Scotty Bowman will try to win this game with his star players. Mario Lemieux will play a ton in this period, as will Yager, as will Rick Tocchet.
Kevin Stevens is out of the game. He was injured first period. Suffered a concussion on a hit with Rich Pilon, so Pittsburgh's had to play without him. Lemieux dumps it off to the near side. We're even strength here and underway in the third period. Fitzgerald runs it in. Tom Barrasso plays it off the boards. The Islanders with absolutely nothing to lose. Nobody thought they would get this far. Many thought they wouldn't get by Washington, but certainly when they got to Pittsburgh, well, here they are. Jaromir Jagr dropped it in, intercepted by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald trying to clear, does. This will be chased to the far end for an icing call. Larry Murphy goes back. Put in behind the net. Run is Loisel, hit by Francis. Samuelson held it in again. Just wrap it to the near side. Jeff Daniels there. Daniels drop pass taken. Right out of the zone by Thomas. Leaves it for Loisel. Sends it in and then heads to the bench for the change for the Islanders. Daniels trying to get it up by Malakoff. Did they wave off any icing? Ryan Mullen had to go play it at the blue line. Mullen up intended for Thomas. Alt Samuelson again there to knock it away. Benoit Hogue back in his own end. Hogue through center. That's an offside 2-line pass. Needham again has it. Needham backs it to the side of the net. Glenn Healy comes out to cover it up. Had King and Wallach back there with him. Found the puck between the skates. I wonder how the youngsters feel coming into this series. People like Mike Needham has seen ice time. Mark Straka, we've seen him out there. Jeff Daniels has played a good deal. A great opportunity for these guys to gain playoff experience. But here we're not worried about experience. This is win.
Yeah, because depending on how this game goes, it might be quite a while until you can use the experience.
Yeah. He's been busy and who hasn't? Face-off will come to the left to Glenn Healy. Todd Loisel, Mario Lemieux.
He backed in. Tom Kervers did a good job of trying to hold him so Glenn Healy could move by him and make the save.
Face-off again. Pittsburgh doing a good job here. They're holding the face-offs in. Lemieux tied up. Delgado got it away. Lemieux lost it back to Ramsey. Ramsey shot, tipped, saved by Healy. Francis tipped it. Glenn Healy made the save. Healy poked it. Look out, Joey Mullen couldn't drive it in. Healy reached out and did not get much of it. Mullen was right there and had the chance. Ramsey. At this point for Pittsburgh, we wonder if they got to be thinking, how many of these chances are we going to get that don't go in before suddenly at the other end one is? Mullen, wraparound shot right through the crease. Lemieux again was tied up in front. Fitzgerald had him. Back the other way, Loisel. Loisel wound up. Mullen had him, shot wide of the net. Joey Mullen blocked his first chance.
I can tell you, Gary, I've been in situations like this, and every player has, and they are saying that to themselves. And to be quite honest with you, I don't have a real good feeling about this game from a Penguin standpoint.
Right now, they're the ones that the heat's really building as this goes along. King drops it. Volek shot. Save. Rebound. King skated through. Couldn't get it. Samuelson poked it to the corner. Ray Ferraro centers. Again deflected in front. Laid up the boards by Samuelson. Tocchet there to get it. Both Shell and Alf Samuelson participating on the defensive play right there. Yager got it into the zone. Yager tied up by Ferraro. Yager swinging it back to the point. Alf Samuelson has got the goal. Takes the shot. Healy saved. Down he goes. Puck came out deep. Healy was down on the ice that time. Ray Ferraro. Alf Samuelson took him out of the play. Brought up for Yager. Lost it. King's got it. Ferraro's still in the zone. Now clears. So King dumps. And brought in by Brian Mullen. Lost it. The center. Croup waiting. All the way around the dasher to the far side. Mike Needham. Mullen moves up on him. Needham got it out of the zone to Tommy Curvers. Furious pace once again here. Uwe Krupp. Back for Curvers. Garno, wide side corner, using the board, bounced out deep. Islanders 7 guys on the ice. Fortunately for them, one of those coming out did not touch the puck. Bounces at center. Lemieux looking to break. There's Lemieux. He leaves it for Troy Loney. Loney back to Lemieux. Mario in front. Shot. Mike Needham tipped it wide of the net. He was all alone on the far side post. Here's a 4-on-2 break coming for the Islanders. Kasparaitis in. Kasparaitis holds up. Mullen cutting. Kasparaitis. Backhand pass from Mullen, but it was wide. Waited too long on that one. Lemieux can't get it out. Benoit holds it in. Finally flipped out of the zone of the rebound. Delgado couldn't get all of it. He and Samuelson collide. Fitzgerald moves in, but the puck was already coming off the dasher. Francis starts it up ice in a 3-on-3 with Lemieux to his left. Drops it to him. Mario Lemieux centering. Down. Wet Mullen. No call. Fans wanted one. Andy Van Hellemond felt he was not touched. He was just reaching for the puck. Pass deflects all the way back to center. Fitzgerald sends it right back in. Picked up by Samuelson. Islanders changing it up. Samuelson's pass intercepted. Regaining control. Yager. Yager. Tippett. Saved by Healy on Dave Tippett. Still tied 1-1.
Here, Tippett wants to get it up, not quite high enough over Healy's glove. The Penguins have to feel like they're in a twilight zone right now, Gary. And the only analogy when you're doing everything right but nothing's happening, if anybody's ever had a dream where they're trying to run someplace or get away from somebody and they just can't get any traction, it doesn't matter what the Penguins do, nothing seems to work. It's an absolutely helpless feeling.
That's what's going on right now. Yager in the corner. Uwe Krupp. Other side of the coin, though, the Islanders aren't able to get much going at the other end. It's the Islanders holding off Pittsburgh, but you got to score too. Lemieux dropped it in front. Volek picks it up. Ray Ferraro, and he will come in a 2-on-2. Larry Murphy back with Ramsey. Ferraro brings it in. Ferraro wants the shot. Dishes Volek. Shot. Score! Of all the people who would put it in the net, David Volek has just given the Islanders a 2-1 lead.
Well, now the Penguins have their work cut out for them in a huge way. David Volek in the doghouse most of the season. Out of the doghouse and into the lineup 2 games ago on a simple 2-on-2, but a nice crossing pattern. Tom Barrasso goes down on this as the shot is coming, Gary. He started to do that 2 games ago. Instead of standing there and waiting for the shot, he is actually in the process of going down when the shot comes, and David Volek handcuffed Barrasso on the play.
Volek has played in 4 games this season in the playoffs, all of them against Pittsburgh. That is his first point of the playoffs this year. The go-ahead goal, 2-1, with 13:43 left to go in the second period. The defending Stanley Cup champions find themselves down. Volek at 6'10" from Ferraro and Fitzgerald.
Mike Ramsey doesn't have his stick on the play, but as he was backing up, he appeared to have it. Short side goal as Tom Barrasso was going down. So also standing back in his net. Volek didn't have anybody to pass to.
Only his second ever playoff goal for David Volek. A 2-1 Islander lead. 2 goals on a London lead this club. 17 playoff points now on top of the pile for the New York Islanders. Samuelson tipped in by Mullen. They want to change it up. Healy will leave it at the side of the net. Kasparaitis had gone the other way. Comes back to get it. He had plenty of time since Pittsburgh was changing. Sent in by Delgado. Wide side corner. Ramsey spun around. Brian Mullen. Mullen for the Islanders. Has it in the skates. Pocket over there trying to dig it out. Taken away again by Mullen. Mullen centers it off the side of the net. Rebound. Comes out deep. Pittsburgh running it up ice with Lemieux. Mario Lemieux moving in. Lemieux drops it. Tippett again. Tippett tied up. Steve Thomas would not let go. Tocchet hit by Kasparaitis. Tocchet goes down. Thomas goes in and gets the puck. Steve Thomas up and out. This will be an icing call on the New York Islanders, and behind the play, Tocchet dumps Thomas after he had done the same to Tocchet. Healy covers the rebound off the boards and leaves it at that.
You know, there's been quite a bit of 4-on-4 hockey in this series, and that's where the Pittsburgh Penguins should dominate. They have not. The Islanders have done a terrific job against Lemieux, against Yager. Hey, the more open ice there is, the skilled players have a chance to do their thing. And the Islanders cannot match the Penguins' skill level. Dennis Vasky, I think, got a piece of that and deflected it off the glass. Glenn Healy sharp picking it up off the glass. With such a young defense and overall a young team, but 30-year-old Glenn Healy has been the story here in Game 7.
11:44 remaining to go. This is the Islander team, the only team in the league that beat Pittsburgh 3 times during the regular season, even though they lost the series 4-3. They were also the only team that won 2 games here in Pittsburgh during the regular season, and they're trying now to keep those kinds of numbers going in Game 7. Francis waiting for Pittsburgh for the face-off, and have to wait a little longer. Benoit Hogue moved right into him off the draw. Larry Murphy playing back deep on the point. So was Lemieux. Benoit Hogue, though, came away with a draw. Malakoff clears it around. Pushed out of the zone by Dennis Vasky. Gently enough so that he did not pick up the icing call. Samuelson back to get it. Samuelson on the high flip to center. Kasparaitis over. Kasparaitis pushed it in the zone. Francis was there to get it. Francis looking for Lemieux. Lemieux breaking near the blue line. Reverses direction to the far side with the puck taken by Kasparaitis. Joel Samuelson. Lemieux in the middle. Lemieux had to draw it back for the forehand. If that pass had been on, he would have taken a one-timer. Brought back in. Thomas dropped it. No shot. Good back-checking job. Mario Lemieux got back that time on defense. Here comes Ron Francis. Islanders changing. Francis. Healy makes the save. Drops it off in a hurry to Malakoff. Malakoff thought Healy might hang on to that. Healy wants the clock to keep going. He just threw it out. Shot by Hogue. Scores! Benoit Hogue from the blue line. Tom Barrasso could not stop it. Islanders 3, Pittsburgh 1.
That puck dropped, Gary. It looked like a knuckleball kind of shot that crossed Tom Barrasso up. He started on the rush way out of his net, but backed up as the play was coming. And Benoit Hogue, first goal since Game 1. That's why it dropped, because it hit a stick. It knuckled all the way and squeezed off of Tom Barrasso's stick and under his arm.
Scored by number 33, Benoit Hogue.
Well, no question there was movement on the puck. Larry Murphy deflected it just enough to make it an absolute monster for Tom Barrasso to have to deal with. And looky here, 3-1. Incredible. New York Islanders ahead.
It is incredible. It comes in a 4-on-4 situation. And you can see now somebody's got to get the juices flowing again for that team. Benoit Hogue gets his 4th of the playoffs. Malakoff and Healy get the assists at 9-0-9. Benoit Hogue's 7th career playoff goal. .51 remaining to go. Ferraro wins the faceoff. The shots are still so uneven, 31-14. May be one of the games to be pointed to for a long time to come for how shots don't tell you what goes on in a hockey game. Played up to the blue line. Vasky comes back to get it. But don't go away here. There's 10:29 left to go, and Pittsburgh didn't win the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row. Without some kind of juices flowing when they needed them. Down the middle, Yager tied up, rolled in off Uwe Krup's stick. 3-1 Islanders. John.
Unbelievable, guys, and welcome to the Dodge playoff update. The Leafs and the Blues.
4-on-4. Now the penalties are over. Back to 5-on-5. Push back up to the point. No dice there. Hurried up the center. Tocchet just came out of the penalty box. Stays out. Larry Murphy brings it back in. Murphy winds up, takes it. Save. Rebound. Tocchet. Save made by Healy. Rebound. Martin Straka dropped it. Yager trying to shove it into the middle. Ray Ferraro was there. Ferraro gets it out. And Pittsburgh now skating with that urgency of time, not on their side. At center, Yager leaves it in the middle for Tocchet. Tocchet trying to stay on side, could not. Had to pick that back skate up in order to reach the puck.
Jaromir Jagr will play probably 7 of the last 9 minutes. Martin Straka, who's been on the bench for almost all of
the offensive pressure on. Healy tipped it in the corner. Francis and Mullen collide. Pittsburgh trying to hold it in. Sean McEachran and Murphy. It came outside the line. Won't matter now. Islanders got it out. Ramsey sends it back in. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go in Game 7, third period. Islanders leading 3-1. The potential for an enormous upset as David Volek has picked up goal number 3. Thomas has the other for the Islanders. Here with Samuelson getting the only goal Pittsburgh has put up on the board, the first goal of the game. Benoit Hogue with the third for New York. Delgarno along the blue line, dropped it in offside. 7:55. Toronto goes hard to the board. Shot by Volek, save made by Barrasso again. But Barrasso hurt himself on that one as he misplayed the puck and allowed that shot to occur. Yager dropped it far side. Straka in front, couldn't get a stick on it for the tip. Ramsey moves up, got it away from Volek. Ramsey in the middle. Volek is there. David Volek just clears it out of the zone. At center, Martin Straka. 7 minutes left to go. Larry Murphy sending it in. Pittsburgh not getting to the puck first. Again, Straka again knocked it down. Troy Loney. Straka. Nobody can control. Kasparaitis takes it behind his own net. Mullen moves up on him. Kasparaitis sends it out. This will be an icing call. Mullen trying to find him. Goes to Francis. Francis, Mullen, Lemieux, Krug. Mullen had it. Mullen shot. Save! Healy hangs on. No rebound.
And still, when the Penguins have great chances, if they're not being stopped by Glenn Healy, they're drilling them right at him. Ron Francis dumped to the slot. Joey Mullen was able to get to it after Lemieux missed it. Here comes Mullen. Boom! Hit Glenn Healy right in the chest. Ron Francis dove at it. They're not talking dynasty right now, are they? They're sitting on the bench and they're talking about desperation, or at least feeling desperation.
Survival. Minutes exactly left to go in the third period and maybe in the season for the Stanley Cup defending Pittsburgh Penguins. Thomas cleared it out of the zone. Barrasso coming up to help out. 3-1, Islanders on top. Montreal waiting to face the winner. Blocked into the zone. Dave Tippett. Tippett cutting. Tippett looking to center. Healy blocked the centering pass for Tocchet. Played. Thomas in the corner. Benoit Hogue got there. Benoit Hogue got it out. The race for it. Thomas has got it. Thomas coming. Thomas the shot wide of Barrasso as Samuelson got back home to shut him off. Back inside. Thomas tipped it in on goal. Barrasso knocked it away. John McEachran over to Samuelson. 5:24 left here in the third period. A 3-1 Islander lead. Sent deeper in the zone by Sean McEachran. Puck still sitting. Tocchet charging in. McEachran's got it. McEachran. Wraparound. Shot. Didn't get in. Shot. Saved by Healy. Larry Murphy deflected it, and Glenn Healy yet another enormous save for the Islanders.
It looked like it was headed for open space, didn't it? Glenn Healy so quick with the left pad. He has been in a zone since this game began. What a performance by Glenn Healy. Watch the save. Does he not get it with his left pad? Bingo.
He has now made 36 saves in this game, with the shots 30 of one final burst to this Pittsburgh team to make up this 2-goal deficit they face. Another icing call. Ramsey going back to get it. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in Game 7 with the Islanders leading by 2. Ramsey stepping up. Because Pittsburgh now, everything's got to be offensive. You'll see everybody pinching, everybody down low. Mario Lemieux tied up again by Fitzgerald. Straka puts the hit on Kasparaitis in the corner. Mario Lemieux still there trying to center. Uwe Krug's got a piece of him, and Mario Lemieux sticks him pretty good, and they're both going to go. With 4:25 left to go in the third period, Andy Van Hellemond is going to take both Uwe Krug and Mario Lemieux and put them in the penalty box.
Guess who won that battle?
By about 8 miles.
Uwe Krupp won that battle of cross checks and jabs because he is taking Lemieux off the ice with him for the next 2 minutes. By the time Lemieux gets out, we will be down to 2:25 to go. Andy Van Hellemond was standing right behind them, and they just kept going at each other and whacking at one another. Watch him. Shot by Krupp, the spear by Lemieux. It's not going to end there. The shot, back and forth. So they went 2 each, 2 cross checks and 2 jabs before Andy Van Hellemond called him.
Mario Lemieux, that's only the second penalty that he has picked up in this series. Scotty Bowman knows now it's all stacked up against him, even with Lemieux out there. It was a big wall.
This is past the coaching stage. There's nothing Scotty Bowman can do. He's got to put his best players on the ice and hope that they can win it. That was basically the theme from the start of this game.
That's right.
And the Pittsburgh Penguins played well enough for 2 periods to win this hockey game, except for the factor. Glenn Healy, and goaltending of any position in any sport. Goaltending can control the outcome of a game more than any individual position. It is the one position that does not fit into the entire equation. You figure outshoot them, you figure outwork them, get better chances, equals win. Not when the goaltending is introduced into the equation.
Look at the teams left, Bill, in the playoffs now. You got Toronto, Felix Potvin. You got St. Louis, the biggest story, Curtis Joseph in goaltending. Los Angeles has just come up big. They are more offense maybe than goaltending in particular. Patrick Roy is back, right the way the old Patrick Roy played against Montreal. Brought in. Yager, the move. Yager, the shot. Wide as Healy got a piece. Yager collides with Healy. They both get out in the crease. No call. They'll get up and separate. 4 minutes left to go. Montreal awaiting the winner. If it's the New York Islanders, the series is going to start in Montreal because Montreal had the higher finish of the 2 teams. But not over yet. Shot! Score! Ron Francis! It is not over yet!
Place at the right time. And finally, the Penguins get to within 1. Glenn Healy appeared to be screened on the play. We are down to 3 minutes and 47 seconds to go. Mario Lemieux is going to be in the penalty box until 2:25 to go. Larry Murphy up on the play. And Ron Francis, one of the few times that anybody's been left uncovered in front. Benoit Hogue was skating back in, but it was really kind of a 3-on-2 that Hogue didn't react to. Super play by Murphy, who has really been a tower of strength for the Penguins. He has skated his legs off in this game.
Here we go. What a finish. 3:47 left. Francis gets his 6th of this playoff season, his 29th career playoff goal at 16-13. Larry Murphy had the only assist, and it is a 3-2 Islander lead. Lemieux's not going to be out of the box for another minute 9 with those matching minors. Tom Barrasso going back together. That penalty looms larger than ever right now. Pittsburgh, Ulf, Samuelson, and Francis. And in between, it has been Thomas, Volek, and Hogue for the Islanders. Healy makes the save, and right behind him, Tocchet running in, and Volek all over him.
Tocchet is doing what he has to do, drive for the net. They have to continue to get...
On the draw. Yager and Mullen are out there for Pittsburgh on the line. Yager able to hold it in along the boards. Malikoff moves over. Francis in front of him. Francis, Malikoff. They swing each other around. Puck still free over there. Malikoff jammed at it. Comes loose and sent out of the zone by Benoit Hogue. Now Barrasso will have to hold this up. 2 minutes and 58 seconds left to go in the 3rd period. Game 7. The Islanders leading 3-2. Jaromir Jagr. Jagr dropped it in. Right back the other way, Francis. There'll be no icing.
And the Islanders are just waiting for him. No pressure at all, just standing and waiting.
Lemieux jumping around in the penalty box, trying to get the blood flowing, so he's going to be out in 14 seconds. Brought in by Mullen. Kasparaitis there. He clears it out of the box. Going to be a break. In. Islanders. Mullen shot. Missed. Tom Barrasso was in the back of the net by the time that shot had rolled to the corner. He got as far back as he could get. Lemieux's out on the ice, 2:20 left to go. Mario Lemieux going for the tie here. Lemieux in. Lemieux, McEachran cutting. McEachran couldn't get it as Mullen reached in, took it away. Comes back to center. Benoit Hogue. Hogue lost it. Samuelson's got it. What a chance for the Islanders with Mullen on the breakaway. And Barrasso backing up. Somehow that didn't go in. Benoit Hogue, the hard wraparound, comes to the middle. 1:54 left in regulation. Claude Loisel in for the Islanders. Loisel tied up against the boards. Islanders and Pittsburgh both changing up on the fly. Samuelson jammed it out of the zone. Lemieux was there, couldn't control, back to it. Lemieux drops it off. Sent into the zone. Not a lot of legs show. Samuelson on that one. Uwe Krupp back to get it. Krupp up, not out, held in. Ramsey shot wide as he had Tocchet in front. Samuelson shot. Lemieux cutting in. Blocked and fouled into the corner. Mullen, Joey Mullen. Glenn Healy will hang on as Tocchet gets dumped in front of the net.
Rick Tocchet was dumped not once, but 3 times on this shift, just like that in front of the net. The first time he lost his helmet. And they're almost out of gas, but they're going to be running on empty for the last minute and 22 seconds of this game and giving it everything they got. Who's going to call the first time out? Maybe nobody will have to. They're littering the ice here. Tocchet with his stick trying to hook Glenn Healy's glove away from that save. And Richie Pilon just downing him. Boy, a little kick in the back of the leg there by Tocchet.
1 minute and 22 seconds remaining in the third period. We will get a delay here. Clinching games against this Islander team over the seasons have been tough, but of course those were different years. Lots of different players.
There was one 2 nights ago as well. That added to the total. What's he thinking?
This far. This team, most of the season, looked like they weren't even going to make the playoffs. Then it looked like they finished 4th and had to play Pittsburgh first, and then suddenly at the end they were 3rd.
They got to the hump so many times this season, as they did last year, and really failed to get over it every time. They get close to the pack and almost into a playoff spot, and they get pushed back. It wasn't until the last 10 days of the season, when the Islanders won 8 out of 10 divisional games in the last few weeks, that they were able to push into a playoff spot. And Tom Barrasso and his guys now may be out of work until October if they don't do something in 1 minute and 22 seconds.
Pittsburgh finished the regular season 17-0-1. They only lost 1 game to New Jersey in the first round. Now they've only got 1 minute 22 to try and tie this up. Tom Barrasso has been pulled. The offensive zone face-off for Pittsburgh. Francis moves in to get it. 3-2. Islanders leading. 1:22 left to go in the third. Back to Lemieux. Mario centering tip. Healy on Yager, the save, and no rebound. Pittsburgh got it right where they wanted it.
Perfect draw by Ron Francis. I'm kind of surprised the Islanders aren't using Benoit Hogue against Francis. It's Tom Fitzgerald. And Ron Francis won it cleanly. Back to Lemieux. Lemieux was trying for a tip because he knew that he had Yager in front. But look how aggressive Healy is. He played it perfectly. Right out in front of Yager, not standing back waiting for the deflection to handcuff him.
1:18 left to go. Francis again looking back. Again won it. Lemieux can't hold it in. Now they've got to get onside. Larry Murphy with a puck. Murphy waiting. Sends it into the zone. Yager back to get it. Extra skater out for Pittsburgh. Empty net at the other end. Yager, Francis, Mullen. Mullen goes to the point. Larry Murphy takes the shot. Score! Ron Francis! And Rick Tocchet, the screen in front. This game is tied at 3.
that's worth this much comes easy to anybody. I don't care if you're wearing blue or you're wearing white. One man back, Larry Murphy. It almost came out of the zone. It looked like it was going to be offside, but he held it right on the blue line, drifted it in front, and Ron Francis was there for the deflection. That has been the only way to get it by Glenn Healy. Ronnie Francis, perfect deflection with the blade of his stick. It was a nice, clear shot, and you saw Ronnie Francis choke up on his stick. The closer your left hand is to the blade, the easier it is to deflect. It's almost like just touching it with your fingers. Ronnie Francis played it perfectly, and Healy had no chance, and champions don't die without a huge fight.
Have lost a 2-goal lead. 16-13 Francis, that is sixth. 19 minutes. Francis gets his 7th of the season's playoff. It is a 3-3 game.
I honestly thought that Larry Murphy might let this one out of the zone, but what?
44 seconds left to go in the third. David Volek behind the net. Hold! He rocked it through the top of the crease. Cleared out of the zone far side for Mullen. Kasparaitis. Larry Murphy plays it up. Brian Mullen. Murphy again. Benoit Hogue. Man in the zone, though. Sends it in. Delayed offside call. Picked up by Alf Samuelson. Alf Samuelson. The Islanders are offside, so they can't intercept here. Cleared up. Tippett gets it out of the zone. There's Lemieux. Lemieux lost it. Dennis Vasky sends it in. You're looking at the time remaining in the third period. Played to Mullen. Mullen coming. Mullen will tip it down the boards. Taken down Loisel. Delayed call there, too, in the offside. Up the center. They're just waiting for the overtime right now, and that's exactly what we're going to have. We've played 3 periods. The New York Islanders had a 2-goal lead. Now they are the ones who cannot believe it is not over.
You know the first thing the Islanders will say when they get into their locker room, though, Gary? First thing Al Arbour will say, and the leaders on their team, at the start of this series, given a chance to win it in overtime in the 7th game, they would have jumped at the opportunity. That's the focus they have to have. The Penguins have to say, listen, we've got to come out in overtime the way we started this game and be all over them, because we have solved Glenn Healy 3 times now, and it looked like we weren't going to get any buyout.
Rebound comes back to Thomas. Cleared to center. Ramsey guns it right back in. Shots 42-17 on this game in favor, of course, of Pittsburgh. Chased down Benoit Hogue. Knocked away by Murphy. Thomas had it, lost it. Cleared out of the zone. Malakoff comes back to get it. Brought in. Hogue looking. Spun around. Ramsey turned him. Hogue again. Takes the shot. Behind Barrasso. It did not go in. That went behind him. And came back out.
Did it hit the post?
I don't know who hit it. Brian Mullen was in behind Barrasso looking for the tip, and I don't know if it went off the post or Brian Mullen.
You know, I thought Benoit Hogue gave up a good chance right there when he went wide, but he stayed with the puck, and Mike Ramsey fell finally to the front. No, it went off the pile, didn't it? It went off Brian Mullen.
Look at this.
Oh, baby, and you're praying for it just to bounce the right way, because Dave Tippett is holding Brian Mullen in, and you know that Brian Mullen, of all of the Islanders, because he missed the breakaway chance that could have given the Islanders the 4-1 lead, wanted that so bad.
You know, son, I played in an overtime game in the NHL once, and I was behind the goaltender, and the puck hit me and didn't go in. 1 minute into the overtime. Face-off comes back into the Islander end.
There's a lot of time left for that story to still be rewritten.
Yes, with a smile on his face. Tippett put the big hit on Malakoff, who immediately speared him. Ferraro got in on Tippett, too, and knocked him down away from the play. Puck in the corner. Pocket, wraparound, not going to get it. Pocket was taken out of the play by Derek King. Tippett trying to hold it in for Pittsburgh does. Glenn Healy didn't bat at it. The net was empty, but the centering pass had nobody there to get a shot off. Back to center, Samuelson. Alf Samuelson sends it in. New York Islanders all the overtime games in their history, including double overtimes this year that they played. 2 of those. Back to get it, Lemieux, center, intercepting Dennis Vasky. Vasky gets it up ice to King. King, red line, guns it in. Knocked down by Barrasso. Barrasso plays it on himself to Lemieux. Lemieux knocks it down. Islanders changing, but they get back on the ice. Larry Murphy to Lemieux. Lemieux for the game winner. Shot deflected into the wide side corner.
Great play by Healy. He followed him all the way across. Finally, Lemieux had no angle.
Uwe Krupp takes it away and clears out of the zone. By the time Lemieux got it off, he was on the goal line. Ray Ferraro in for the game winner. Save. Healy rebound. Sitting in front. Francis cleared it out. Lemieux hanging even behind him that time. And a delayed offside call as the Islanders.
Lemieux chance, and Mike Ramsey, while putting him off balance, wasn't able to keep him from the shot. And this is what happened before the Ferraro chance. Mario Lemieux with the drop pass to Murphy, confused the defense, back to Lemieux, decided not to shoot. Look at Healy. Follow, all the way across. When Lemieux shot, the puck was absolutely on the goal line. He had no angle. He would have had to put a curve on it, and I've never seen anybody do that from that angle.
Where the Uwe Krupp helping out there. He got the stick out to him, was forcing it down deep with Healy. Great effort on all the players' parts right there. Samuelson, shell on the near side has it. We're in the overtime. This game is tough. Pittsburgh in their offensive end here. Yager had it against the boards to Murphy. Murphy the shot, save made by Healy. Deflects to the short side corner. Fitzgerald played it off the glass. Doug down Lemieux shot. Save Healy! Great shot by Mario Lemieux right on the short side post. Murphy steps up. Murphy able to hold it in. Delgarno gives chase. Delgarno out for Loisel. Loisel. Fitzgerald coming. 2-on-2. Fitzgerald stood up. Knocked down. Great check put on. Back. Francis. Save! Glenn Healy.
Well, what a treat. Glenn Healy is giving every hockey fan in this country that is tuned in to this hockey game. I don't care if you're a Penguins fan, folks. You got to admire what Glenn Healy has been able to do in this hockey game. Ron Francis had Yager right here coming for the rebound, but forget about it. Glenn Healy just ate it up. And you talk about confidence defensively, look at Mike Ramsey. That takes a lot of gut, folks, to stand up at the blue line in that situation, because if the guy goes by you, he's by you clean. Ramsey marked him and nailed him.
Major League Baseball coming up next from the West. Save Healy. He covers it up. He lost it for a minute. And Jeff Daniels dove for it, and Healy got his glove on it before Daniels could poke it in.
But he tried to end this.
Face off one to the corner. Dennis Vasky goes back to get it. Intercepted Steve Thomas. Loisel starts it out, drops it. Thomas coming with hold. Steve Thomas. Thomas taken out by Ramsey. 2 solid checks in this overtime by Ramsey. Backed up off the glass. Brian Mullen running in, held it to the point. Vasky the shot, tipped just wide. Barrasso was down and Brian Mullen fell down in front of him on that shot. Mario Lemieux back on the ice. Lemieux drops it into the middle. Pittsburgh rushing here in the overtime with Mullen. Mullen trying to send it in. Murphy couldn't reach it. Played by Hogue. Hogue leaves it. Mullen's got it. Brian Mullen brings it up to the Islanders. Drops it back to Hogue. Hogue got it taken away by Lemieux.
What a defensive play. Lemieux used all of his reach to dive and poke that puck away.
They come the other way to Yager. His shot wide on Glenn Healy. Brian Mullen on the near side board. Yager was moving in. Just got a piece of it. Uwe Krupp moves it up. Islanders trying to get out of the zone. Yager was reaching in.
This thing just about put out.
Yep.
Just about. Not quite.
Not quite. In front. Yager. Fanned on it. Taken by Ray Ferraro behind the net. Far side for David Bollig. Bollig pushing it into the middle. Loisel ran into Tocchet and lost the puck. Samuelson with it. Samuelson get it up ice. This will be an icing call the other way. In the face-off against Ron Francis. Ferraro wants to draw back on the forehand here if he can. Couldn't do it. Francis tied him up. Big win for Francis. Lemieux tips it out of the zone. Islanders get onside. Dennis Vasky sent it in. Barrasso went back to hang on. Cleared around again by Samuelson up for Francis. Francis looking wide side. In the zone. They've got Lemieux cutting. Lemieux backhand shot wide of the net. Mario Lemieux with that long reach able to line that one up. Puck comes back in the zone. King was there. Reading it. Samuelson with Lemieux. Tried to get it back to him. Could not. Wall's got a chance on the break. Here comes Ferraro. 3-on-2. Ferraro drops it for the game. Score! The New York Islanders have beaten the Stanley Cup defending champions in overtime by a
Pittsburgh.
I don't even know who it was. Was it David Pollock with his second goal of the game? Ulf Samuelsson had pinched up on the play, Gary, and he got caught. And you could see the problem for the Pittsburgh Penguins shaping up. Martin Straka tried to get back. I think it was Pollock. Couldn't see his number. Maybe it was Thomas, and they don't care right now. Can you believe it?
As they line up for hockey's great tradition, but what an upset has been pulled by the New York Islanders, winning 4-3, being outshot in this game 45-20.
New York goal, his second
and the Stanley Cup champions are no more.
David Pollock.
It's now for someone else to take home.
And number 37,
David Pollock is the man that scored it.
The goal, 5-16.
And you can imagine a huge celebration going on in Montreal right now because number 6 Montreal takes on number 12 New York Islanders for the Wales Conference Championship. And Glenn Healy put together one of the great goaltending performances in 7th game history. He was incredible.
Allowing only 3 goals on 45 shots against one of the best offensive teams the game's ever had, the team that finished 2nd overall during the regular season. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, not enough tonight. David Pollock picks up the game winner. Ferraro and Vasky the assist for Pollock. 2 in the game, 3 in his career.
3 stars.
Here's how it shaped up. It was a 3-on-2. Straka got back to negate Malakoff, but he didn't help on the 2-on-1. Ferraro to Pollock. Tommy Barrasso out and down on the play, so Pollock got it up high. He bulged the twine. The Islanders bench completely erupted. They may have been the only 20 people in North America that thought that Islanders could beat the Pittsburgh Penguins, and that's all they needed on their side, as long as they stuck together and believed it. And there's the man that started to instill that notion, Al Armour. As long as they stuck together and believed it, they were able to accomplish it.
After 3 periods, even they had to be wondering what this was going to look like when it was all said and done. The New York Islanders in overtime have beaten the Pittsburgh Penguins. They will now face Montreal. They continue that amazing streak in overtime games. The New York Islanders winning it. For Bill Clement and all of our crew, hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Islanders 4, Penguins 3. Gary Thorne, good night, everybody. John?
All right, guys, thanks a lot. And the New York Islanders have never lost a game where they were facing elimination against the Pittsburgh Penguins. We will get you out to the baseball game in just a moment. That's the Padres and the Giants. But we would be missing our point here if we didn't sit to talk about this one. Absolutely tremendous. 7th game going to overtime. Healy keeping them in it throughout the game. And then really Pittsburgh still seemingly the team that had the most to lose and the tensest in the overtime.
Well, you know, I may be a little biased here, but there's nothing as exciting in sport as overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs. This was a tremendous game. 2 teams played their hearts out, but I think it's fitting that the Islanders won. The Penguins are a better collection of hockey players, maybe the best collection of hockey players in the league. In this series, the Islanders were the better hockey team.
They certainly were. Nobody giving them a chance to win this one, but they're advancing to face the Montreal Canadiens. And David Volek picking up just his 2nd goal of the playoffs, but more importantly, the 2nd goal of the game. And Ray Ferraro with a nice pass. Volek just tees it up. And Tommy Barrasso did not face too many shots in this game and was not very sharp. As a result, the New York Islanders, you see the reaction of the bench. Al Arbour says, I knew it all the time. A 3-1 lead with just about 4 minutes left in regulation. They give that up, and they still come back to get the win in overtime. Lauren Henning with his arms in the air as well. And Al Arbour, you know, the Pittsburgh Penguins and their fans must be saying, what does it take to beat Al Arbour, because they haven't got that done?
Well, you got to believe. Al Arbour believes. There is great power in believing, and he showed a lot of faith in David Volek. He hadn't scored goals in a long time. He gets 2 big ones tonight. So Al Arbour's confidence in Volek pays off. I'm just so happy for the Islanders. I thought it was a tremendous series by a team that, if you ever want to sell work, hard work to your team, the Islanders are a great example.
You also have to really tip your hats, an overused phrase, but you must, to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here's a team that's won 2 Stanley Cups. After winning their first, they barely made the playoffs last year, then came back with a lot to prove and got into the playoffs and then won the entire thing. This year, given a chance to really knock everybody off, they didn't get this one done, but still a tremendous run, and this may be similar to what happened to the Edmonton Oilers, where they had that little lull between winning 2, missed 1 when they lost to Calgary, then won 2 more. But Glenn Healy, again, without Glenn Healy, the Islanders lose this one by 7 or 8 goals.
Well, that's the thing we have to remember. The Penguins really played a strong game, especially in the first period. We gave you the shot.
John, I don't think he can stand for very long. Glenn Healy came away with a victory in net in this 4-3 major upset. Glenn, first, congratulations. This was a tremendous victory. We were kidding you just a minute ago. What a night for you.
Yeah, very pleased. Just another day at the office, huh?
Oh, yeah. Did they have any shots that were hard stops for you, Glenn?
No, they're not that skilled a team. Oh, my God. No, they certainly have the firepower to beat anybody, and we respect them. We know they're a better team than us, but let's face it, for 60 minutes, 4 times, well, a little more than 60 tonight, but 4 times this series, we played better and we deserve to win.
Glenn, take a look, if you will. This is Ron Francis on an opportunity that came in the OT. Tell us about this one.
Well, he's coming down the wing and he's got the hot hand. He's been scoring a lot of goals on me. He's got a great shot. I was kind of surprised that he went upstairs. You know, I thought he'd go right on the ice. I managed to get my glove on it. The glove was working tonight, so count my lucky stars.
Tell us what was said after that regulation ended and you went in before the overtime.
Well, I think we knew that we deserved to win the game in regulation. You know, we're up 3-1 with 3 minutes left to go. Lemieux's in the box. You would think that everything would fall into place and we'd be able to hold the lead. I think we felt a little cheated that we didn't manage to hold the lead. It was rather somber, rather quiet in the dressing room between the for the overtime, and I just had that sense that the guys knew that we were going to get a lucky bounce and we were going to put the puck in the net, and wouldn't you know it, the guy who's not really had a whole lot of ice this year wins the game for us. And I mean, just an amazing victory, an amazing series by 20 guys that have character and work hard.
Glenn, did you ever say to yourself during the first 2 periods when they really appeared to be all over you, did you ever say, I wonder if I can hold this in here long enough?
I think at the end of the first period, when it was 0-0, I knew. I had a good feeling. I knew that Pittsburgh would be frustrated. They kind of used up most of their good chances in that first period and didn't come away with anything. So I knew we'd settle down. I knew we'd get into the game, and I knew we'd score some goals, and that's exactly what happened. And I mean, you know, we're a team that wasn't supposed to win. That we weren't supposed to win a game, and for us to do this, I can't say enough about the guys in that dressing room. The individual efforts, the heart, the soul, the guys that didn't play, the guys that did play, just amazing.
Glenn, put this season, your season, in perspective for us. I mean, this hasn't been the easiest of years for you. You were battling for a job.
Well, I played a great majority, I think 30 of the first 40 games to start the season. Then I had about a tendonitis and bone chips in my wrist, and I missed about a month. And when I came back, Mark Fitzpatrick was on a roll, so it was difficult. And, you know, as a team, we had a difficult season. We had 23 of the first 30 games on the road. We had 3 rookies on defense. We had 3 rookies up front. And I was wondering, boy, what's going to happen come Christmas time? Are we going to still be in this? So when we still were and everything was going along great, I knew we'd be fine. And we won so many big games down the stretch. I mean, we've been fighting for this spot to get to here. Not for 2 weeks, but we've been fighting for this for months because we didn't have the playoffs wrapped up to the last day almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Glenn, take a look again. Here are a couple of other chances here. Daniels had one on your right here.
I'm not sure you'll remember all of them, Glenn, because there were a lot.
There was 46 of them, I think. There, I know Mario was on the one side. And you want to control your rebounds to the corners, but in that particular situation, I had to kick it directly out front because we had men there.
I think this is a wraparound try by McEachern.
Yeah, he's a crafty little player. Right in front to, again, I think that's Francis or Tocchet. And I'll be honest with you, I just threw my leg out there. I didn't even see the shot, so I guess when you're lucky the puck hits you.
I think there's a little bit of talent involved in that. Glenn, Montreal's next.
Who? Montreal?
You remember them?
Yeah, I remember them. No, it's we have a lot of respect for that team, too. Let's face it, we're underdogs in that series. But to be honest with you, we've played very well against Montreal. We beat them right before Christmas. We lost a couple real close ones, 4-3 and 3-2. So we match up pretty well against them. I think they lack the firepower that Pittsburgh has, but they're a more disciplined team, and obviously they've got that, what's his name in net?
That's a French name, isn't it?
Yeah. Can't remember. Yeah. But I think he's pretty good.
Did you pack enough clothes for 5 days?
To be honest with you, we thought very optimistically. Some of the guys may have packed light who didn't think optimistically. But we packed enough clothes to go to Montreal, and to be in Montreal in spring. Who's better than us?
Glenn Healy,
Nobody.
I got nothing else to say to you.
Hey, Glenn, you want a job? I know you're busy for a while.
My day job's going okay.
Keep it going.
Go celebrate.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations. That was outstanding. And this is what it looked like on the Islander bench as David Volek put it in the overtime to take the 4-3 win. You see the fans behind him just kind of picking up and getting ready to go home because it's all over. 2 Stanley Cups back-to-back for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but the dynasty we talked about at the top of this show, it did end here at the Igloo. All right, that'll do it. Final score in overtime, the New York Islanders 4, Pittsburgh 3. John?
The proceeding has been a special presentation of ICENET, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network.